G'day everybody, how you going today? It is so good to see you. I do hope you are super well. Today we are doing a try-on haul with the Nikon Z5II. Over 20 lenses across 7, 8 brands. I don't know, I've lost count. There is so many here. We are at the point with the Z mount. Not only do we have the Z mount advantage, it is the most adaptable mirrorless mount on the market. The Z mount is even more adaptable than the E mount, because not only can Z do an enormous range of adapting, but it can also adapt E-mount lenses. We have so much native glass at this point in time. There is pretty much almost something for everybody. And at the end of this video, we're going to have a little bit of a surprise lens. It comes in this bag. Hasn't been seen on this channel for quite a number of years. And just before we jump into the video, I wanted to mention something. I was just watching a video, an official video from Nikon that the intro titles came from, interviewing the engineers who made the Z5II. A really interesting takeaway was that the AF algorithm itself had been tuned to match the new hardware. Now, this is basically the theory that I put out there a couple of weeks ago as to why bird detect has taken as long as it has, because the idea from my perspective was it needed to be tuned for each sensor or each sensor size, and here is Nikon officially saying that in a video. Along with the Z5II has the same bird detection performance equal to the Z9. Pretty impressive, and yes, it's impressively fast. This is the NIKKOR NOCTY from Ultra Labs. I love this lens. I love how it looks so retro, so authentic, but it actually has a Z mount, which allows it to be on a camera like this, still be used fully manually, but of course, the NIKKOR NOCTY is a 50mm 1.2 lens, and I've had plenty of fun shooting with it at parties and events and with my family. Would I use it for professional usage? No, probably not, but it looks good, feels good, and there we have it. No problem getting focus. What I love about this lens is just how small it is. This is a 16 to 50, 3.5 to 6.3. It is an APS-C lens, so it probably won't be coupled with the Z5II very often, but I just like how cool and compact it is. You can still get 4K video with this lens, but you are going to get around a 10 megapixel file if you shoot with this, with the DX or APS-C crop. It is super light, super fast, super compact. There is the 24 to 50 full frame lens, which is similar to this lens, but I don't have it. But it's similar in its compactness, and it is one of the kits. Very light, very easy to use. So this is kind of standing in for that lens. This is the 28 2.8, or I call it the 28-28. This is a full frame lens designed to have retro styling. It looks really beautiful in the ZF, which we are shooting our B-roll over here. And of course, it still looks cool on the modern Z5II. This is very light. I think this is a great lens. It's a non-S-class lens, but it still gives very fantastic results. And if you wanted just a fairly fast, fairly light, fairly affordable street prime, this is absolutely a wonderful way to go. And of course, we are getting great results from that. There we go. That is what the 28mm 2.8. Of course, there is the 40mm 2.0 version of this, which is similar. It comes in both the retro and modern styling. Could be a great option for your Z5II if you're thinking of getting one. Next, let's go to something a little bit more exotic and crazy, which is this one right here. This is an old MAMIYA lens, which I have this adapter. This is an adapter, this bit here. It actually works. Optically, it's not that great, but you might have some beautiful MAMIYA lenses that might work for you quite nicely. But let me just show you how that's actually possible. That is a MAMIYA medium format, proper medium format. We're talking 6x7 lens working there on the Z. And of course, it's doable, but it's frosty. This is a 127mm. Now, a wonderful lens that I reviewed not that long ago is the Tamron 90mm f2.8 macro. I found it to be a very, very good lens, and I reviewed it in both E and Z mount. Here it is on the Z5II, and this would be a great alternative for a macro lens. Nikon have the 105, which is what we're shooting the B-roll on over there. It's an absolutely stunning, beautiful lens, optically absolutely spectacular, but this is an alternative. Both lenses are full-frame lenses. Now this lens is nicely weighted, feels good, focus is very, very fast. You would be very, very happy with that, and it's a great companion. Feels good. This is a fun lens. I reviewed it at the same time as the Tamron. This is a 75mm f2. I found it actually to be a really good lens, and I do love that rectangular lens hood that it has on the front there. It's a great lens. It's really nicely built. It's got an all metal construction. Focus is not as snappy as some other lenses, but it's still absolutely fine considering its price point and that bokeh and so on. It all works really, really well. I do find with some of the third-party lenses that stabilization does not always work as well as the first-party lenses. This might be an example of that. It's still working, but it just doesn't seem to be quite as competent. And what we have here is the beautiful, amazing 14-24 super wide angle lens 2.8. This is one of the highest quality zoom lenses, especially wide zoom lenses that I've ever used. Will work absolutely spectacularly on the Z5II. And there we have it. Yeah, so wide. And Nikon has done such a great job of minimizing distortion, vignetting, and everything else with this lens. It does come with a pretty epic price tag to match, so it does make sense. But it feels good, the weight is right. They've somehow made this lens so light and so easy to use. Next is the 24-120 f4. This is an S-class lens, and it is a very, very, very good lens. Of course, it's a telescoping lens. That's how we get the 120 without it being very, very big. This is a great lens. I really enjoy using it. It's up there, similar quality to the recently released 28-135 power zoom f4. Feels good. It's got good weight to it. Like this is obviously an optically competent lens. It's got a metallic and composite build. I really enjoy this lens. It's an absolutely wonderful all-rounder. This is one of my original F-mount tilt shift lenses. This is the 24mm 3.5. I use this a lot in the 2010s. Not so much these days, not for any particular reason. It's a style that I enjoyed for quite a long time. Tilt and shift. It means you can do this, which is pretty funky. Move that whole thing up and down. That's what these lenses are all about. They're very expensive, and of course, this is with the F to Z adapter, which works brilliantly. And one of the advantages of mounting F-mount lenses via the F to Z adapter onto Z cameras is that you now get in-body stabilization with all of the full-frame 35mm censored cameras. Very, very cool. Is this a perfect coupling? No. Look, this is quite heavy on the front of this. These are very much specialty lenses that are used for very specific moments, and those that need them will have no problem with this sort of setup because the results you get are awesome. The absolutely beautiful and epic Plena, the 135 1.8, I would say a near on perfect lens. There's no question of it. It has no equal. There are lenses that get close, but it is in a class of its own due to the Z mount advantage, and that is that the mount is closest to the sensor, along with it being the largest mount. Now this is a big lens. There's no two ways about it. How big it is, how lovely that front element is. Absolutely spectacular, extremely fast to focus, and optically outstanding. Feels great on the Z5II. It has a big enough grip to handle this weight, which is around a kilogram. Beautiful lens and very well matched with the Z5II, also the Z6III, Z8, Z9. A cute little lens here, very affordable lens, very light, fully composite design, so it won't be the toughest lens in the world, and it certainly won't have the weather sealing of some of the professional lenses we've been looking at. This is a 40mm f2.5, very small, very light, absolutely easy to handle on the camera, and yeah, it's a great little lens. You should definitely check out my review. But ergonomically, easy as pie, and from an aesthetic perspective, absolutely cool. A lens that I recently reviewed on this camera, the Z5II, this is the SIRUI 85mm 1.4 AURORA edition. Now, SIRUI are well known for their cine lenses, so there is some of that aesthetic and technology that comes into this lens. SIRUI are looking for cinematic results, which is not always about absolute sharpness, but it's more about a certain look and softness. This lens has extremely gorgeous, dreamy bokeh, dreamy, creamy bokeh. It's an all-metal body. I really enjoyed using this lens, and it's absolutely worth checking out my video about it. The SIRUI 85 1.4 feels good, looks good. I like it. Yeah, and it's very fast. It's very fast to focus. It's very well stabilized. It's definitely talking to the body really well. What an unusual little lens this is. This is the Laowa 14mm f4. A fully manual lens that does not give you any EXIF data, but it is 14mm, and you can see it is very, very small. I did make a review about this lens. It's pretty good. I don't think this is Laowa's best work. And of course, at this stage, we now have autofocus lenses. This lens came out probably maybe something like 3, even 4 years ago, and technology has moved on since this lens. But of course, if you're happy to shoot manually, this could be a good option, and it would be quite affordable at this stage. Very small, very light, easy to use, f4, nice, firm focus throw, the type of throw that we will see on a Leica camera. Definitely very light. Beautiful metal construction, so it's really nicely built. And of course, well, you just have to use it manually to get your focus. And here we have the absolutely beautiful 85mm 1.8S. Comes in at equal eighth with 2 other lenses. It's in the top 10 lenses of all time, which makes this lens a bit of a steal, because if you want an astonishing 85mm that's that good, but you don't want to buy the 85 1.2 that we have here on the table, which is the highest lens, it is the best lens of all time on that list, this is a great alternative. The 85 1.8S, probably something like the 4th Z lens that I purchased. Feels perfect on the Z5II. Looks pretty cool. I do like the minimal design of Nikon's 1.8 primes. Next, we have a pretty unusual lens here from Pergear. This is a 2x macro. It's an all metal construction, all manual. It's a heavy lens, but again, it is a specialty lens. Strangely, it's not overly heavy, and it feels absolutely fine in the hand in this situation. It is a 100mm 2.8 fully manual full frame Z mount lens from Pergear. Here we have the 85mm 1.8 from Meike. This is a solid lens. You can check out my review on the channel from sometime last year. This is a composite lens, and it's also a competent lens for the price point. What's interesting about these third-party lenses is they just keep on getting better and better quite quickly. From year to year, we seem to be having improvements when it comes to the third-party lenses. It's not overly heavy, it feels good. Great little lens, fast focus, very light and feels great here on the Z5II. Certainly an option if you want to get an affordable 85mm. The amazing 85 1.2, truly a superb and sublime lens. Really, it can just create absolute gold. At the time that I reviewed this, I think around 2 years ago, I kind of said you're in God mode with this lens. I still feel the same way about it. It is a big lens, but the weight is completely handled by the Z5II. Most importantly, it looks great. There it is. Very fast. Very fast. Oh my goodness. All right, we're going to end with some F to Z adapted lenses. There's the original one. I do have version 2 around somewhere. And what we're going to put on here is the much loved and somewhat highly coveted, thank you Bruce, the 300mm PF. Now, this is a full frame lens. It's 300 mils, and you can see how big it is. It's an f4. This is a phased Fresnel lens, which means it's got a special element in there that allows it to get 300mm full frame in such a tiny package. Of course, the 400 4.5 Z lens, they say it doesn't use the same technology, but it must be something similar. And then of course there is the 600mm PF 6.3 Z mount lens, which we know is a Fresnel lens. Not very heavy. Considering this is an old F-mount lens, I'm pretty happy with that, and stabilization's working nicely. And for the final surprise lens for our try-on haul, let me just put this one to one side. Absolute monster lens. Oh. This is a lens I purchased back in 2015 to work with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra to enable me to get a fair bit of reach. This is the 200 to 400 f4 VR. From probably around about 15 years ago, I think. This is the version 2, and it's still working. Amazing. Love it. What a great optic. I think this lens is 3 or 4 kilos. It is very heavy. It's hard work to use. You pretty much always need to be on a tripod with it. You can use it handheld. I did use it handheld. I would say it looks really cool. But the ergonomics and handling, well, I would say monopod or tripod or very short bursts handheld. All right, everybody, well, there it is. There is the try-on haul of the Z5II, which begins Nikon's Z mount full frame lineup. It's a feature-packed camera which would make anybody super excited to be a photographer or a videographer. You simply can't go wrong. And the reason that I make these videos is to show for real that you can mount all of these different lenses, some of them adapted, some of them not, the enormous range of third-party lenses, let alone the almost 50 native Nikon NIKKOR Z mount lenses. We may get to 50 sometime this year. All right, everybody, I'd love to know your thoughts about this try-on. Please do let me know in the comments below. It's been so good to see you, and if this is your first time here, I would love to see you again, so please do subscribe, please share, and please like. All right, bye for now.